Hey, beautiful people of the TikTok. How y'all this evening? I hope, oopsie. Hopefully, I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. I was deciding if I wanted to um move this back to 9:30 so I could do something right quick. But I decided, you know what? I can do that later. But I hope everyone had a fantastic day. I did. Okay. Um, I had a good day. I got done what I intended to get done. Uh, I was thinking about maybe doing a few extra things, earlier on, but I didn't want to, why? We're having a slight early spring, late winter frost. I think we are under a freeze warning for tonight here. It's crazy. But tomorrow I think it's supposed to get up to like 80. The weather is a little strange. So I hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Tuesday and that you got your top 3 priorities done for today. But I'm going to talk about this new it's not really, Substack is not really, would not be considered social media. It's a place for artists. So it's a place where creatives go and talk and people follow them, which is like social media. That's why I say it is and it isn't social media. So I had to look it up because my niece introduced it to me a few months ago, and I wasn't really for sure if I wanted to take on anything new, right? So I said, well, yeah, let me look into Substack, and I saw that it offered me the ability to blog because I like blogging, I like writing, right? So it says, and I looked it up. Substack is a platform where you can write and share your thoughts, stories, and ideas directly with your audience through email and posts. So it's kind of like having a blog because I've had a blog before. Hey, Nikki. I've had a blog before and I like the concept of a blog, and it also gives you the concept of a social media type thing. You can post a long form and short form. So I was really, really happy about that. I was like, oh, I like that. So I said, well, you know what? It's not, I'm not gonna lose anything if I just try it out. So, and it also gives you the ability to build an outside email list because heaven forbid we lose some of our social media sites. Emails are gold. So you get to do like newsletters too. And you can also offer people to subscribe and get stuff directly and get things that you don't share publicly. You can share stuff privately and publicly. So you don't have to fight the algorithm like social media. It doesn't have that same, you're going to show up. If people are following your type of work, then they're going to follow you. Everything's going to show up. You're going to show up on the feed. It's just a matter of whether somebody wants to subscribe to you. It allows you up. You're going to show up on the feed. It's just a matter of whether somebody wants to subscribe to you. It allows you to do longer, deeper. So I set up the platform. I was reading other people's posts. But I think, I can't do that. You know what? I can't do that. I had to plug y'all in. I cannot believe I I think I have enough juice to finish our live, but I never like to see the little red line. But I was like, you know what I could do? I could build a separate universe for my novel, The Girl in the In-Between, because I feel like this particular novel for me has multi different levels. I can really make a really good series out of this. And because everything doesn't need a whole book, this gives me a place to tell multiple stories as well as having a book. So I'm like, okay, Substack might work for me. I wanted a place for deeper storytelling without always writing another book. I wanted to not only rely on my short form content, although a book is not really short form, it lasts as long as it lasts until you do another book, right? So I wanted a place where I could slow down and really tell the story. Because in the book, The Girl in the In-Between, you have Clarissa in the in-between. She's from a prominent family. The prominent family started this town during the freedmen's era after the Civil War, and the African Americans were freed, the slaves were freed. And so she comes from what you would consider royalty, right? But she never fit in. And as you read the book, you do get to meet her siblings. And I get to really tell you about them. But some of her siblings are married. Like her oldest brother, Charles Jr. Oh, thank you for all the little lovely things. Charles Jr. He has a wife. They grew up together. So she grew up knowing the Shepherd family and all that they've done for Denton, right? But she's got a story. Part of her story comes out in the second book, but not all of it. This would give me a place to tell her story, right? And then there's a surprise at the end of book 1 of a particular person, because that's the surprise. I can't tell you that. You gotta get the book and read that for yourself. But that person has a whole story. And as the series progresses, they're still part of Clarissa's life, but there's a whole story of that. And I didn't see that it needed a whole book, so I was trying to figure out what was I going to do. Now, I'm a reader. Now, this year, I haven't read as much as I normally do, but I can normally finish 60 to 100 books in a year. And I've noticed that some authors, what they do is they have a series of long form books, and then they create these little novellas to go in between certain parts of the series. Well, I didn't really want to write a novella. So I believe Substack is going to give me that place to tell that person's story, because it's a man now, because he has a story to tell. And then I also get to tell, because I've read other people's Substacks on their universe for their books, and you get to really break the character down. People get to see these people as almost real people, because Clarissa is not me. I'm nothing like Clarissa. I'm not anyone in the book. None of my characters resemble anybody I know. But they're people I would like to know. Yeah, remember Brianna told us, but that was months ago. And I just kind of kept putting it off because I didn't see the need to start anything new, right? But now it fits in. Increased estimate. Okay. So I just see that as a place where I can make them thrive, right? And I've noticed on this platform, it's not just for writers, it's kind of for artists too. And they talk about how they develop their artwork and how they Um, you know what it reminds me of? And I used to write on that side too. Oh God, it just slipped my mind. But it's a bigger version of this particular platform, and I can't think of the name. Doggone it. Uh, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. And I can share, themes of the identity. I can really break down what's going on with these characters. For me, this isn't just a book. It's a world with layers, history, stories, and it needs room to unfold. And it's created a interest for me in how freedmen towns came to exist, and unfortunately how they came to be non-existent today. Because I'm from Dallas, Texas. We had a very big freedmen's area here in Dallas at one time during that time after slavery ended. And you can find it in history, but you can find it in part of Dallas history. You can't really find it anywhere else. But I feel like also in my Substack under the In Between Files, and if you get the book, you'll learn that Clarissa started her blogging, and her blogging was called In Between the Files. That's why I named my Substack that, because this is me allowing Clarissa to bloom. I just get to write it, and I just get to share some stuff. And I just think it's interesting how the Freedmen Towns came about. I like history. I'm not what you call a history buff, but I do like learning things, and I definitely love learning it. I know a lot of people know about, Black Wall Street in Oklahoma. People know that Lake Lanier used to be a freedman's town, but they took it over and made Lake Lanier. Central Park used to be a freedman's town till it became Central Park. And remember Central Park, because you're going to see that again in actually book 3. We're going to talk about that in book 3. Now, there are some freedmen towns that won't make the books, but I'll talk about them over on Substack. Because Clarissa started out as a journalist, but then she specialized in the history of freedmen towns and how history revolved in and out of it, what happened to those families, what happened to the secrets of those towns. So she gets to share more about her archaeological type digging. You'll see letters from Clarissa. You'll actually see her journal entries. You'll actually find out how she found the papers to tell the truth about her own family. Some of it's mentioned in book 2 because it plays a pivotal role in book 2, but there's just a little bit more to it. And sometimes you can't tell it all. I can't write a 600-page book. Nobody is going to read a 600-page book. Well, some people might, because they read those big historical books all the time. But it's a place where I can do hidden stories, and again, expand on the true historical parts as well as the fiction. And we actually may get letters from her mom and her mother. Helen has a great backstory. We learn some of it close to the end of the first book, but it's not really told in the second book. And although she's, a pivotal character in all these books, her story's not going to get told all the way. So I found a place where her story can get told. And I'm loving that for me. And I am loving that for, hey, Brianna. Oh, Brianna. I set my alarm for 7 o'clock. And then when it went off, I was like, why did I set my alarm for 7 o'clock? And then I proceeded to do something else. And by 7:30, I was like, oh my God, I was supposed to log on for Brianna. And of course, it was over by then. So charge it to my head, not my heart. I did set my alarm. I just forgot why I set the alarm. And I was deep in this Substack. I was deep in this Substack. And I'm having so much fun. You know, like I said, all the stories don't fit in a book, right? What is it? It's okay. I know you support me in real life. Right. And I want readers to feel connected to the characters because God has opened up a creative space for me in the Girl series. You know, I've already mentioned that there is a second book. It's 80% done. I'm just deciding if I'm going to release it on my birthday or if I'm going to wait again and release it next February during Black History Month again. I haven't decided quite yet. But to be honest, I already got the outline for books 3, 4, and 5. So I'm excited about these characters. I'm excited about the creativity that when I'm concentrating, it just flows out. It just fills up the pages. And I want to create an immersive experience. And of course, like I said, you can have a paid subscription part, just like on the gram and the book. I don't think, and you can have it here on TikTok. You can have a paid version, a subscription version. So I can have a subscription version for our book club where we can really talk about these characters and really talk about the history that's going to come through the books. Because we have a very rich history that can be told, and it doesn't always have to be, for lack of a better description, dry historical facts. We can build a little fiction, a little fun, a little drama around it, right? Sometimes the story continues even when the chapters end. You know, I see a series. At first it was only going to be 3 books. Now I think I'm going to cap it at 6. I think I'm going to cap it at 6 because like I said, I have the outlines through book 5. But every time I write a new outline, I see a bigger part in those outlines that probably could come out and be told on another book. Whereas I do see other storylines that's not quite as big, but now I got a place for it. They have a home. They have Substack. Now I hope I don't get a ding about telling people about another platform. But if I do, there's nothing I can do about that, right? There's nothing I can do about that because I'm excited. I am so excited. This is just the beginning of something bigger than my book. This is bigger than my series because it's nothing like having an excitement for something God gave you. It's a space where my stories can live, can grow, and connect and cause a conversation around the historical parts. Now, my favorite type of reading, I think I've mentioned this before, is murder mysteries. But I can't seem to figure out how to make that work. I can get you the first part. I can even tell you who dies, who gets murdered. Somehow I can tell you why, but I can't make it all come together. And in a good murder mystery, you got to have a lot of red herrings. You got to have a lot of situations that go, I think the lawyer did it. And in the end, it be the lady down the street who was mentioned a couple of times in the story, but she fits in. I can't seem to do that. If I could ever figure that out, I would definitely write a murder mystery because I love a good whodunit. Right, this crazy stuff. Yeah. I love that, but it takes a different kind of mind to get that together. But I can tell a good story. I can tell a good story. I can get you from A to Z and still make you go, what? Because I still think I got a good ending in book one. And book two, the ending is good. Now, like I said, I have 80% done. That last 20%, I got to knock some boots off of somebody. I got to knock their hat off because they messing with my family. So I got to figure out the right way to get them in check. You know how you get folks told off and they not for sure they've been told off, but they have been told off, right? So I got to get the right combination of words on that last 20%. And that last 20% is what takes us into book two. So I got to make sure the last book three. The last 20% takes us to book three, right? But I'm in love with my characters, and I'm in love the fact that I have a home for them. I have a whole home for them. They have come out of the book covers, and they are living large on Substack. Now, I can't tell you to go there and see and meet them. I can't tell you to do that, and I'm not going to tell you. What I'm going to tell you to do is use your discretion for yourself, okay? Because you can always go where I am fully invested. The app that I am fully invested in that has everything that I do housed, and there's where you'll find a link to join the world of the Shepherd family. Join the world that Clarissa is building for herself. And I was finna give something away, but I can't give that away. I can't give that away. We got some arguments and fights. You know how it is. It's 5 of them. There's Junior, Charles Jr. There's Carter, right? Then there's Clarissa, Carson, and Charlotte. If you got 5 siblings in one house, they gonna fight. But I show how siblings, once they do come together, they stand for everybody. But the fights, they real. They real. And I love the behind the scenes that I'm going to get to write. Have you ever watched a large family? And I'm going to take this family as an example. The Kennedy family. It was a bunch of them. They were considered American royalty. But each one of them had their own backstory, how they felt being a Kennedy. Stuff you can't say out loud. Things you can't share with the world. Same thing with the Shepherds. They were the royalty of their town. Their ancestor founded this city. So it's shepherd this and shepherd that and shepherd. Dude, can you imagine how those kids felt? The pressure that it put on them. And over on Substack, we can talk about it. Because that happens today, and your family is probably not even part of what we consider Black American royalty, African, Black American, whatever, royalty. Right? You just want to be you. But because you come from a long lineage of lawyers, that's what they expect you to be. But then you might be the one that say, you know what? I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be an actress. That totally throws off the family dynamic. Would you say this feels like a hood movie? You know what? It might sound like it with me telling you, but because I wrote these characters, well, I'm not going to say that because Carter's a little out there. You know, Carter is a little out there. He can be a little ratchet. Okay, Carter can be a little ratchet. You know, he's bad boy turned good boy, right? Right. Uh, oh, good movie. This sounds like a good movie. Okay. Um, but it could be a hood movie because, like I say, they still kids. And where the book comes in, they're in like pre-adulthood. I haven't told about all the antics that I see that they got into, but I can tell that over on Substack. I don't have to write a whole nother 300-page book for it and try to fill in places that might not go with the story. Right? What you say, Tyler? Yeah, because we're not talking about no baby mama drama. We're not talking about battered women. You know, the sister got to be fighting the brother about stuff. We ain't talking about all of that. We talking about family history and going forward. We talking about the family dynamics, kind of like this, because their parents would have grown up in the 50s and 60s, and then we do have the grandparents, the 20s, 30s, and 40s, where if it was in the house, it stayed in the house. That stuff was swept under the carpet. But those secrets come out because Clarissa is the architect. She's the archaeologist. She wants to know the truth. She's the one that just don't want to do to go along to get along. But in not going along to get along, she caused some issues for the family. They still loved her. They didn't like it, but they still loved her. But my big story, I'm going to introduce all the characters. You know, I'm going to do a character analysis so that you know everybody, the main characters involved. You got the mama, the daddy, the 5 siblings, the spouses. Well, not all the spouses. It's really Third's wife and the other person's person that I'm trying not to tell y'all about. And maybe Charlotte's husband, because he's a character too. Because this family looks perfect on the outside. The picture that I created of them, if you've ever seen it, I post this family portrait: the perfect daddy, the coiffed mother, the well-dressed sons, the beautiful little beauty queen sister, and then there's Clarissa. They look perfect on the outside, but there's a whole lot going on behind the big house on the hill. They ain't killed nobody. Maybe not. I don't know yet, because it's gonna get a little interesting. It is. But I'm really, the other exciting part that I'm gonna have with writing on Substack is the real history. I have been researching the real history of like Lake Lanier, Central Park, the Freedman town that was here in Dallas. I was going to do part of the writing, like we have another very African-American eccentric part of town called Hamilton Park. But it was erected around the 50s, so it really doesn't fit the mold of a Freedman town. So fictionally, I may have to take them back to the 1800s, but the history of it is very interesting. So I still may tell the factuals of it on my Substack, because it's one of the few truly created Black communities that still exists and has been dubbed a historical landmark. Because trust me, it is in the middle of one of the richest parts of Dallas. Right off the main I-75 here. And they tried to take it. But those families And the church that was built in that area stood up against the money makers and saved their area and got it dubbed as a historical landmark. So no bulldozers can come through that neighborhood and take those homes away. And we're talking about homes that, if you look at them, the well-maintained ones, you would think they were probably a couple of $100,000s. No, but because where they're located, because favor ain't fair, those houses are worth millions of dollars. And they probably, some of them only have 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, the ones that haven't been updated. But it is a very integral part of that thoroughfare of Dallas. And it's one of the few that's left in the country. There are some others, but it's very few that still exist. And I think the story needs to be told somewhere. Like I said, I've seen something on YouTube that somebody did a little documentary about. I've read a few things online that someone wrote, but that's really about it. The history needs to be told. But the main history you're going to see in book 3 is the one on Central Park and the Freedman town that, it was actually 2 Freedman towns that eminent domain came along, and now we have Central Park. So I am so excited. I'm really loving the history. And I know I keep saying I'm excited, but I am excited. That's why I was telling you, I don't know why I said I was going to go live 7 days a week, because Saturday and Sunday are the days I really get to, well, it's just me in the house. I can do whatever I want to, but those are the days I've kind of set aside for a lot of in-depth stuff, because Monday through Friday, it's a good day to do lives. It's a good day to really talk to people. People on the weekends are running around doing stuff. You'd have to talk to them late in the evenings, early in the mornings, because that's when they do stuff. They spend time with their families. They go and have fun. So if you want to follow along in Clarissa's world and see how everything unfolds, I've started building over on Substack. I've actually been doing some posts. I have my very first long post, a letter from Clarissa. Okay, inviting you in. You know, to go to, and I'm gonna see it. I might get dinged, but go over to my link tree, and you can join me there. Because I haven't covered it with a domain name, because I'm not sure if I want to or not. But once you get to Substack, just look up In Between the Files. Meet Clarissa. Let's learn a little history. Fun. Let's have fun learning a little history. You know, when we was in school, it wasn't fun. But I'm going to try to make it fun, because I think it's interesting. And I know everything that I think is interesting may not be interesting to someone else, but I think it'll be interesting. Okay? And I like my characters. I like my little family that I have created. And I want you to meet them all. I want you to know them intimately, because they're going to be around for a while. At least 5 books worth. So you might as well get to know them. Okay? That's all I had for today. I just wanted to tell you my excitement that I was having writing, not only writing the book, The Girl in the In-Between, the second book, The Girl in the Echoes, and now the In-Between Files on Substack. I haven't come up with the title for the other 3 books. It'll be around the same type of title, because I want them to all be cohesive and fun and make your mouth go, they said what to who, and they tried to do what. I want you to be an advocate for Clarissa when they try to come up against her, right? Because you know those in power try to take people down when they try to tell the truth. Okay, I'm done. I'm done telling you before I start telling you the plots of these books, because I know me. Sometimes I overshare. And then you be like, well, what else happened? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell you no more. So if I tell you now, then what's the point of writing a book? Right? All right. So I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to go make me some tea. I'm going to use some of my Herbal Renaissance teas. The one that's for good sweet dreams for sleep. Oh, I have a book club. It's going to be over on the Substack because we can go live over there. I have questions already written for us to discuss. Not only my book, but yeah, we'll have a book club. We can do other books, self-development books. Clarissa's big on self-development. She's big on knowing who you are. So yeah, she's gonna and my subscription rate is not like some. Woo! There was one person that I follow here on TikTok who has a Substack account where they share bigger stuff, right? But it's total subscription. They don't have a free side. But to subscribe to them is $50 a month. I'm like, you could not possibly be telling me that much more than what you put on TikTok for $50 more a month. Mine is, I think I have it set at $8. $8, we're gonna have fun. So I think I have one subscriber, that's me. I need 10 to go live. So as soon as we get 10, we'll start having our book club. I will start it says pin a shortcut to your services now to collect leads. Say what? So if I put you got to be kidding. I can add that. Pin a shortcut to your services. You can send a direct messages right now for 27 seconds. Get out of here. That's something new. I hadn't always had that. Look at that. Something new. You can send me a direct message right now. Okay. Let's see when that run out, what else it do. Okay. So what if I go back and it says advanced settings, leads, also show this to new viewers as they join. So new people would allow your moderators to pin. So you're my moderator. So now you have the ability to pin stuff too. Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to have to go read up on that. But anywho, we've been on here long enough talking about Clarissa, right? Y'all want to meet some more about her and the Shepherd family and the girl in the in-between? Oh, I'm going to say it, ChristyLShed.com. And I hope that doesn't give me an error. But I don't know how this is supposed to work. I really don't. Because everything can't stay on TikTok. They don't allow for digital products. Although Brianna did talk me into it. And like I said, I do have, I'm getting away so that hard copies of the book can be gotten. So I will be able to put that in the TikTok shop. I think. I don't know. We will see. And then it won't be such a big deal when I say stuff. Right? Right. Okay. Y'all have a good evening. Y'all rest well. Go to bed on time. I'm going to go make my sweet dream tea with some stress away in there so I can relax my body and my mind, right? So smooches. Later, gators. Bye.